Today, on Be Something Wonderful, manifest instantly, the technique that always works. I am your host, Tom Kearin, and this is the Be Something Wonderful studio of higher consciousness, where we help you level up and become the best version of yourself. Creators, good morning and welcome back to the studios of Be Something Wonderful. Big video for you today. The question came up around instant manifestations. One of you said that, Tom, I've had experiences of things manifesting instantly, my desires manifesting instantly. But then some seem to take time, weeks, months. So why isn't it all instant? How can I get there? What always works? This whole idea, right? So we talked about another one of you that I talked with just around the same time was telling me a story of healing after 7 months of experiencing excruciating pain on one side of her body, in arms and leg. And for 7 months. And then her sister said to her, who knows the idea of the law of assumption and manifesting, who's well versed in that, she said, you know, it's all in your mind. And of course, this person goes, that was it. She goes, that was it. That's what moved me. It's all in my mind as I am awareness. In other words, she's in all realities, all possibilities. She's identifying with one perspective or viewpoint of all that she is. She doesn't have to keep identifying with that identity that is experiencing that excruciating pain anymore. And she said within 3 days, it was completely gone. Never came back. This is powerful. That's instant. That's what we mean by the simultaneity of your beingness, that you're in all reality. She knew that she was all those identities, and all those identities were within her in that one divine mind. And that it's a shift in perspective. And that's instant. And yes, the experience unfolded what seemed like 3 days, but that's all made up. It's all instant. That's so you can experience you as that changeless reality, as that simultaneous being. So you can put space and time between it so you can experience it, so you can know yourself from a different viewpoint, vantage point, perspective. But you're shifting identities in every moment. We're going to talk about these ideas today and more. I am who I say I am. I am that person that I always desired to be. I am that I am, the mantra that Bashar talks about. I am that I am, and that is enough. That's powerful. That's always instant and always now. Some of you ask, well, Tom, there seems to be a lot of focus on instant manifestations and all that. What about the idea of Passover, passing over to a new state? Remember, Passover is that experience of shifting realities in every moment. That's what Passover means. You are that greater identity, always passing over into new experiences of knowing yourself as all that is, or all that you are. Right? That's what Passover is. Passover is the experience of knowing yourself as source in every moment. It's continuous. It's the instantaneity of manifestations. It's not something that works or doesn't work. It's not something that's happening or not happening. You're shifting, manifesting in every moment, every instant. It's simply how to know and express yourself, or experiencing yourself as the simultaneous, multidimensional, all that isness, all identities, personality that you are. You are new in every instant. How you experience this instantaneity or simultaneity creates your horizontal linear experience in time and space. You determine it. Time and all of those experiences are within you. It's how you view yourself. You view the world. You view reality. There's no idea of instant outside of you. Just as there's no 3D horizontal linear experience outside of you, or a universe outside of you, or anything outside of you. This is powerful. So let's talk about this today and more. What's the manifesting technique or process that always works? It's I am. I am is perfect. It's instant. It's the truth. That's what Passover means, knowing yourself instantly in every moment as that I am awareness, as that all that isness. And it works instantly. You don't need anything else. The whole idea that you need something else, that's why I love that scene from The Chosen. That's the reason I talk about it so much. It's a masterpiece. The one where Jesus heals the paralyzed man at the pool of Bethesda in the movie The Chosen. The way they did that was a metaphysical masterpiece. Jesus saying to the paralyzed man, you don't need this pool. It means nothing. It does nothing. You only need me. You don't need anything else. The idea that you need something else is what lack is what the idea of lack is, or scarcity, that you need something else to be who you already are. That's all fear and lack is. Lack is that idea that you need something else to be who you already are. And fear is the idea that you're not going to get it, or you're going to end up with what you don't want. That's all fear is. You don't need to do anything else. You don't need to think, feel, do, or see anything else. You don't need to be or identify with as anyone else. Wow. Do you see that this person that I talked about, that healing of that pain, that excruciating pain that she was feeling, she was trying all sorts of things, right? Imagining and affirming that, and we've talked about that idea, that healthy identity. But even that felt like she wasn't getting there. What did she do? She just moved to the idea that, wait a minute, I'm the identity that's all of these identities. So from that awareness of all that is, from that I am awareness, she went to the idea that, yeah, it's all in my mind. All of these possibilities, and I'm just going to shift to the possibility that doesn't include this excruciating pain. That's powerful. You are the one. Everything else means nothing. It does nothing. That's why Jesus said, that's why I love that scene, you only need me. In other words, you only need the knowing of who you really are. That you're the multidimensional personality. That it's not really about having to do something or not do something to demonstrate your abundance or to demonstrate your love or any of that. You are love. You are abundance. You are all that is. It's not about any specific identity that's a loving identity or any specific identity that's an abundant identity. It's the idea that you're all identities is what makes you infinitely abundant or abundant itself. It's that you are all personalities, all that is that makes you love. Right? So we're going to talk about this idea. It was that recognition on her part, that knowing, that one single idea that instantly healed her after 7 months of excruciating pain. It's all in the mind. Wow. In other words, the one divine mind. That all that isnness. Your finite, in other words, your finite experience of that one perfect mind, body, and spirit that you are. That's all that was. It was one finite experience, like any other identity or any other physical, horizontal, linear experience. It's one finite experience of that one perfect mind, body, and spirit, of that fulfillment that you are. Everything is really a demonstration of your absolute worthiness and your absolute fulfillment that you are. Right? Within which infinite, in that one mind, it's all in the mind, within that one divine mind, within which infinite identities or versions or realities live and move and exist. You as all of those identities. So it's knowing that. It's not the specific identity. All identities are perfect. They're perfect expressions of the all that isness that you are. We're the ones that make the judgments of good and bad, we don't like and we like, and all of that. Right? They're all perfect expressions of the fulfillment that you are. It feels like it's lacking or limited from the physical horizontal viewpoint. But when you know this, wow, just like her, right? moving within 3 days, no more pain ever. Each identity, each version, each reality, each perspective, each viewpoint, each vantage point is the superimposed multidimensional divine personality, experiencing and knowing itself as the one. Lack is just a story, right? Any one identity looks like you tell a story that it's lacking, but it's actually the perfect expression of the fulfillment that you are, the perfect expression of the utter worthiness that you are, of the utter abundance that you are. Do you see? Each identity, each perspective or viewpoint, each view is the combination of that superimposed multidimensional divine being that you are. I want to show this today. There's so much said in the reality creation circles, and even as I pointed to in yesterday's video, about the need to identify with, connect with, and align with your chosen or preferred identity that is healthy, abundant, in love. And we even talk about that in many videos, right? The need to love yourself, right? Other spiritual teachers talk about that you can't have love until you love yourself. Well, remember, it's not so much about loving yourself, it's just knowing yourself as love. It's the bigger message, right? This idea that you need to feel abundant, or the need to do this or that, or imagine this or affirm that, as we pointed to yesterday. The need to act or be different, and then have your actions in align with that assumption of who you are. Well, that's all one idea, but it's a lower level idea of reality creation. The need not to contradict your concept based on the fear or perception of lack and scarcity. This whole idea that's talked about. But all of that keeps you, hear this, all of that keeps you focused on the fear, lack, and scarcity of I am not yet that which I desire to be. All of that does. That's why, yeah, you're going to manifest things and have different experiences because you are anyway. Every moment you're manifesting and shifting realities. That's a sure thing. So you'll get text messages, you'll see, leprechauns once in a while. You'll have miracles happen because it's happening in every moment. Of all those experiences of fear, lack, scarcity, physical pain, emotional pain, unworthiness, and non-fulfillment, in all of those experiences, hear this, are the perfect expressions of the absolute worthiness, abundance, health, and love that you already are and always have been. Wow. They're just different viewpoints or perspectives of all that you are. That's all they are, right? Wow, that's powerful. So it's not so much, I get it, a lot of coaches and gurus say you need to love yourself, but what does that even mean? No, what did Jesus say at the pool of Bethesda? This pool, it does nothing, it means nothing. That means nothing. In other words, you need to know yourself as love itself. That has meaning. That's the truth. I am. It's not trying, when we say you want to love yourself, it's like I got to love this identity that I think is limited, or a life that I think that is not what I want to live. I've got to force myself to love that. Remember, you don't have to force yourself. It's just a different perspective. It's to know that you're more than any one identity, that you're more than any one perspective, that you're more than any one physical experience, that nothing's broken. You're not here to fix, get rid of, improve, or change any one perspective or viewpoint or personality or identity or version of you. You're here just to keep choosing the version that you want to experience next. They're all perfect expressions of that all that isness that you are. So it's not so much that you need to love yourself. That's a given. It's to know yourself as love itself. And the other idea is you need to be the version of self that is always abundant, what we talked about yesterday. Yes, but it's bigger than that. You only need me, as Jesus said at the pool of Bethesda. You only need I am. You only need to know yourself as abundance. It's not so much of identifying with a version of you that's abundant. That's a judgment. That's made up. It's to know that you're all versions of you in every moment, that you're the greater identity, that you're not defined by any one version of you or any one identity. That's true abundance. Not identifying necessarily as a version that has lots of money or lots of cars or is a billionaire. That's just a viewpoint. That's a vantage point. That's not what defines it, what you do or don't do or what that. It's you only need me. In other words, to know yourself as abundance. In this idea that you need to be the version of self that's abundant and then act on that either physically or imaginatively, as we talked about yesterday. Right? Either physically give money away or imaginatively just imagine that you're on a luxurious trip or whatever it is. Well, yeah, all of that's okay, but it still keeps you in this idea, in this smaller idea, that there's something wrong with the identity, what you're identifying with right now, the identity that you are, and this other identity is somehow better or more perfect. They're all perfect. They're all perfect expressions of the multidimensional identity that you are. I want to show this today. You only need me. You only need to know that. Right? This person that healed herself didn't invalidate that identity. She said, well, it's all in the mind. It's one vantage point. It's one perspective that I'm identifying with, the excruciating pain. And move to a different perspective without invalidating the other. Because it's all her, it's all a perfect expression of all that is. It's all part of knowing yourself as that perfectly healed, whole, complete, and loving being that you are. You're perfect. But how do you know that? By seeing different perspectives or viewpoints or vantage points of that perfection. That looks imperfect when you're looking from the horizontal linear perspective. Right? You need to identify, connect, align with that version of you that is healthy. This is the example. No, you only need me. You only need the awareness that to know yourself as perfect well-being, as perfect health. It's greater than that. It's greater than any one identity. This is okay. You're going to have experiences. Here you're going to create manifested experiences doing that, but this is the greater meaning of manifesting and creating your own reality. It's instant. I am is instant. You only need me. This is powerful today. All lack, all scarcity, all non-fulfillment, hear this, comes from the perceived need that you have to have, do, or be something more or different to be fulfilled. It wouldn't matter what perspective or identity you identify with. You could identify as a billionaire and then have this health issue. It doesn't matter. It all comes from that you need it to be different than it is. But you're not that one identity. You're all identities. You're all that is. You're the superimposed version of all of them. You're complete and whole, experiencing yourself from a different viewpoint or vantage point. Your fulfillment experiencing itself from a different viewpoint, vantage point, or perspective. Knowing yourself as fulfillment. Knowing yourself as love. Knowing yourself as utter worthiness. You couldn't have that experience of feeling unworthy or not fulfilled or not loved unless you were absolutely unconditional love, utter worthiness, absolute unconditional fulfillment. Right? That's what all scarcity and non-fulfillment. It's not about what you do or don't do or what you have or don't have. Hear this. It's the perceived need that you have to have or do or be something more or different to be fulfilled, to be worthy, to be healed, to be complete, to be whole, here and now. In fear is simply the thought and feeling that you won't be fulfilled. You won't get what you want, or you'll end up not fulfilled or not with what you want. That's all lack and fear are. They're just ideas, right? Instant healing or manifestation of your desires and fulfillment comes from the recognition and knowing that it's all in the mind, in the one divine mind that you are. Wow. Like she had. And that you only need me. You only need the awareness of that. The awareness that you're all realities, that you're all possibilities. Yeah, the fear and all of that, that's just an experience of that horizontal linear experience. Do nothing with that. It means nothing. You're the greater being. You don't need anything else. You can choose it, but you don't need anything else. It's like Wayne Dyer's daughter. I told that story in an early video, a few years ago now, I think, about her instant healing. Wayne Dyer tells the story of how she tells the story with her father, of how she healed her bumps. She had a skin condition when she was a little girl. And she just said the night before, I love you, but it's time for you to go. I love you. She loved that one perspective. It was just a viewpoint. It's still her, but it's time to create a new vantage point, a new perspective as all that is. Right? That's powerful. And then she was healed of those bumps instantly. All that is your higher self, the real you, that I am awareness, that perfect fulfillment, that one divine mind. Well, there's infinite perfect identities and expressions of all of that. All of these, not one of these are imperfect. They're perfect expressions of the all that isness that you are. You're made in God's image, and God doesn't make mistakes. It's perfect. All your identities are perfect. And you, with your focus, you're the superimposed, multidimensional, unlimited personality through which all of these identities exist, move, and live, and have their being. You're the perfect expression of all that you are, no matter what you're currently identifying with, right? All of this is to know yourself and experience yourself by assuming a certain identity. But it doesn't mean you're just that identity. You're the superimposed version of all identities. Always, all the time. No matter what identity you're experiencing, that the assumption of that certain identity or viewpoint is to know yourself as this. That's all. It doesn't change that you're all of these identities all at once. Everything. Everywhere all at once. So it's by experiencing yourself from a new perfect viewpoint or perspective. It's only down here where we call it imperfect and we don't want it and we start railing against it. That physical manifested experience. But they're all perfect expressions of the complete, fulfilled, whole, perfect personality that you are. All of them. So you're not here to fix or change or get rid of any of those manifested identities or experiences. You're here to continually choose, because in every moment you're passing over, see this, you're passing over to a new identity, a new you. In every moment, it's a clean slate. You're absolutely a new identity. Any change is a total change. In other words, any identity is a new identity. Complete. That's what Passover means. Passover is simply the eternal expression, hear this, of you experiencing yourself as all that is. Continually. Life knowing itself as life, the livingness of life. Consciousness being conscious of itself as consciousness. Awareness being aware of itself as awareness. That's Passover. It never stops, or there's no beginning or ending of that. You're continually eternal being, knowing yourself as that eternal being. And it's all perfect. It's the perfect expression of who you are. This is powerful. We'll get back to this. What you think, what you feel, what you do, what you see, what you fear, or what you lack means nothing and does nothing, hear this, when you know you only need me, as Jesus said to the paralyzed man at the pool of Bethesda. When you know yourself as this, then what you see, feel, think, in that, or fear or lack down here means nothing because you know yourself as that vertical. So powerful. Lack and abundance. Hear this message clear today. Lack and abundance, or non-fulfillment and fulfillment, have nothing to do with any one identity or version of you that you align, connect, or identify with, or what you say or don't say, or what you do or don't do, or what you see or don't see, or what you think or don't think, or feel or don't feel, as any one identity or version of you. Nothing, do you see this? It's nothing to do with it. It's nothing to do with it. I want to say this again. Lack and abundance, non-fulfillment and fulfillment have nothing to do with any one identity or version of you that you align, connect, or identify with, or what you say or don't say, or do or don't do, or see or don't see, or think or don't think, or feel or don't feel, as any one identity or version of you. But rather, what is it? What is the measurement? But rather, it's measured. The idea is measured by the degree to which you're aware that you're the superimposed identity and version of all identities. Wow. And versions of you. To the degree that you are aware that you need nothing to be who you already are. And when you do that, that frees you up then to experience anything. Wow. Do you see it? That's what measures. To the degree that you're less aware of all that you are, all at once, you feel that sense of lack and fear, right, and non-fulfillment, right? That what you see, think, or feel, or do feels important, feels part of it, feels like it makes a difference. It's how you're aware of all that you are. That's what it's all about. It's measured by the degree to which you're aware that you are the one superimposed identity and version of all identities and versions of you, to the degree that you're aware that you need nothing to be who you already are. When you do that, that frees you up now to experience anything. Just like this client that freed herself from that excruciating pain of 7 months. It freed her up. It freed her to experience that, and it freed her to experience something else. Wow, that's powerful. This whole idea that reality coaches and gurus talk about, this whole idea of self-concept work or shadow work and all that. Remember, the only self-concept work you need, hear this, is to know that whatever identity, whatever version, whatever concept of you with which you align, connect, or identify, it's the perfect expression of your source of love, of the absolute fulfillment and worthiness that you are. It's the superimposed, perfect, multidimensional self. It's the perfect expression of who you are. That's what the true metaphysical meaning of self-concept work is. There's no problem with your self-concept. It's about you are the ultimate self-concept. You are that I am, you are that perfect being. That's identifying, that's knowing yourself as that perfect being. There's nothing wrong with any one identity, with any one physical experience. It's just one viewpoint. It's just one vantage point. It's one expression or experience of yourself as that absolute perfect identity, that perfect self-concept that you already are. And I love it. And I've talked about John 14:2 in other videos, many other videos. But it really fits here. And I want to talk about this. The metaphysical meaning, the true metaphysical meaning of in my Father's house are many mansions. Neville Goddard talks about it. Many spiritual coaches talk about it. I've talked about it. But I want to talk about it with respect to what we're talking about here today. In my Father's house, in that great I am that you are, that center of the one divine mind, are many mansions. There are many identities or versions or perspectives or viewpoints of all that you are, or dwelling places, as they call it. That's the idea. There are many ideas of that ultimate self-concept that you are. You don't have to work on any of those identities. You don't have to change them. You don't have to fix them. They're not there to be fixed. You're there to choose and to experience yourself as the ultimate self-concept, as the perfect work of God, right? The Son of God. And it goes on, if we're not so, I would have told you. In other words, it's a knowing, it's a truth. If it were not so, I would have told you. That means it's so. There's no possibility of it not being so. And then it goes on, I go to prepare a place for you. It's the whole idea that you're always preparing a place. You're always shifting identities, perspectives, viewpoints, manifesting in every moment. In every moment, you're shifting identities, realities. All the perfect expression of your absolute fulfillment. All perfect, right? That's the true abundance. That knowing that it has nothing to do with any one limited identity or manifested condition or doing anything. True abundance is knowing that you're always shifting as all that is. You're always shifting all identities no matter what you think, feel, see, or do. Do you see it? You're always, I go to prepare a place for you. That's always happening. Wow. So that's always happening. And if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come again and receive you to myself, that where I am, there you may be also. Wow. So if I go, you will shift and align and connect with and identify with a new identity in every moment. You're new in every moment, no matter what. So you do go and prepare a place in every moment. But no matter what you identify with or as, you're completely and absolutely perfect. You're completely whole, healed, complete, and fulfilled no matter what. In other words, that's what Jesus is saying, your I am awareness. That I'll prepare a place and I'll come again to receive you. That where I am, there you may be also. You're going to shift realities, but we're doing it together. And no one perspective or identity is incomplete or anything wrong with it or needs to be fixed. It's just a viewpoint of the many mansions and dwelling places that exist within you. You're here to know yourself as that perfection. That whatever you experience, it doesn't change who you truly are. If I go and prepare a place for you, I will come again and receive you to myself, that where I am, there you may be also. In other words, it doesn't change who you are. You're always at I am awareness. That's you and you. No matter what perspective you're taking on, that's instant because it never changes. It never changes all that you are. You create the idea that it takes time, that you needing it to be out there. You create this idea that it's not instant. Needing to see something out there, needing something else. You don't need anything, you only need me, as Jesus said at the pool. So this idea of this client that had this instant healing, as soon as she went to the absolute knowing, it's all in the mind. 3 days later, the pain was gone. The unfolding of that simultaneous healing, or that instant healing, unfolded. The space between events was over 3 days because she is all that is. So to experience yourself at all that is, you've got to create that experience. You've got to create change in that changeless reality. That's what she did. She was in tears telling the story, tears of joy. Like Bashar's mantra, I am who I am, and that's enough because it's everything. So let's go. That's what Jesus says at the end of the scene, towards the end of the scene, at the healing of the paralyzed man. So let's go. Pick up your mat and walk. And then remember what Simon Peter says to him, don't forget your mat. And the paralyzed man goes, well, why? What does it matter? Because you're not going to need it. You're not going back. Or you're not going back there anymore. Take your mat because you're not going back to that reality. She's not going back to that excruciating pain. It was an experience. It was one perspective. This knowing makes sure anything, all these ideas of the subconscious past or subconscious tendencies or subconscious assumptions, it makes it all irrelevant because you're no longer that identity. You're shifting in every moment. You get to decide here and now. Manifest instantly. That's the technique that always works. I am your host, Tom Kearin, and this is the Be Something Wonderful studio of higher consciousness, where we help you level up and become the best version of yourself. Creators, thank you. Thank you for being with me. Thank you for liking and sharing and commenting on the videos. Thank you for being part of our Facebook group, The Ambassadors, at facebook.com/groups/Be Something Wonderful. For joining us on Instagram and Twitter at Tom Kearin, TikTok at Be Something Wonderful, anywhere on social media at either Tom Kearin or Be Something Wonderful, and for being part of our membership channel. Today we will have the announcement for our next live event on the Be Something Wonderful membership channel, where I'm going to answer your questions live during the chat and also answer your questions that you've been sending to us at info@besomethingwonderful.com. Look for that announcement. Creators, with great love, with great light and infinite gratitude, this is Tom Kearin here in the studios of Be Something Wonderful. Until next time, we'll see you soon.